On that note, it's 6 o'clock. We'll call the Cedar Creek Township Board meeting to order on Tuesday, November 21st. So, Ron, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now you choke. All right, Dave, would you do the roll call, please?
Trustee Wright.
Here.
Trustee Beeman.
Here.
Treasurer Jarvis.
Here.
Clerk Stamey. Here. Supervisor Ertz.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Does anyone have any additions or corrections?
I'm not sure if this correction goes here or when we actually approve the minutes, but the agenda says that the minutes were from September 12th. They were actually from October 10th. They're correct on the minutes, but they're not on the agenda.
Okay, we'll make that correction. Thank you. With that, we will approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. Heather, minutes. Yeah, minutes. I jumped a step.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll support.
All right, we have a motion and a support on the minutes. Any edits or corrections to the minutes? Same thing, sorry. All right,
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved, thank you. Now for the treasurer's report.
Our October 1st, 2023 beginning general fund balance was $1,247,566.30. Revenues totaled $89,386.37. Expenditures totaled $99,835.03, leaving an ending balance of $1,237,117.64.
Perfect, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Heather regarding her report?
I don't.
Heather, did you have anything that you wanted to speak about with respect to taxes or anything? Or you want to
I usually do that in my
at the
board
end?
comments.
Okay, all right. Thank you. We'll place Heather's report on file.
Okay.
Clerk Stamey, any disbursements?
The usual bills, plus couple, we had about a $5,000 bill for a sprinkler system repair from when they put the pavilion in. We also paid for the pavilion, have that done now. That's about it, all the ordinary.
Okay, could I then have a motion to pay the regular bills and plus the bills that Dave just mentioned?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, any concerns or anything else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Correspondence, Dave, that goes to you again.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Anyone else?
No.
I have nothing either. All right, jumping down to public comments. Agenda items only. Public comments, agenda items only. Anyone? Okay, we have nothing under unfinished business. So we'll jump to recurring business. This would be an update from Clerk Stamey.
We have a couple options we're looking at, and our committee needs to meet again, but we're to the point, I think we wanna, we talked about a special planning meeting with the board to discuss options and what direction we wanna go, so whenever we get that scheduled, we can look at some plans.
This is, Dave is talking about the building, the options for the building of the township hall, perhaps refurbishing
Yeah, just
or,
improving the office space we have,
yes,
and
so,
then a little additional room, so.
okay. All right, moving on then to new business. Board members, you have in your township, in your packet, 2 items here. And the first one I have in my hand is I didn't throw mine away. I advised you all to throw yours away, and I kept my old one. I have the mechanical permit. And what we did was, we have been assigned to review all our permits. And this month, we looked at plumbing and mechanical. And we looked at, we took 4 different townships: Dalton, Holton, Muskegon Charter, and Blue Lake. And we reviewed our township permits, and we're not exactly looking at apples and apples, because we don't, the townships don't call their permits exactly the same thing. In some cases they do, but what we did was look at them and decide whether they were as close as possible. And as fairly as we could, we looked at the fees and decided what the amounts were. And we talked with Jimmy Hoppus, who is our plumbing and mechanical inspector. We asked him to give us updated fees that were, in his best estimate, the right fees for the future. And based on those 4 townships and Jimmy's estimates, we then looked at what we thought would be the best fees for the future. So the amounts that you have in front of you are those in the red, are the fees that we are making recommendations for. And what I am asking for, we have both plumbing and mechanical. So if you would take a look at those fees, the ones that you had, the permit fees that you had in front of you, the only change that we made to those, we added a new home fee on the top line, which includes up to 4 inspections. And there's a fire, on the mechanical permit application, there's a fire suppression, and it is, I believe it's a, someplace in here she put,
Right column, second from the top,
second from the top, it's fittings.
third from the top.
Oh, 10 cents per foot minimum?
No, she put fittings. There was a,
Per foot.
Per foot.
10 cents per foot.
fire suppression piping, that was it, I believe it was. So, those are the only changes. So what I'm asking is for your approval of these fees.
I'll make a motion, we approve them.
Second.
Any discussion on these? Then I will need a roll call vote, please.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Dave, yes. Brian?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. With that said, with the approval of these, we were scheduled to have a building inspection vote or adjustment next month. Lorraine and Jeff have gone over those fees, and it turns out we will not need an adjustment on the building inspections. So, the only thing that's going to need to happen in December is a resolution approving all of the adjustments that we've made on our rate increases. So with that said, we'll have a resolution in December, and then in January, we will then bring these fees forward and we'll contact all of our contractors, letting them know that there's a rate increase. So thank you very much for your cooperation and helping us move this forward. I appreciate it. Okay, next in our order of business is the Generac maintenance plan. And a year ago, we had to call in a maintenance person because we had some problems with our generator. And it turns out now that some lights are on, and they happened to call us just a bit ago saying they would like to service our generator and letting us know that a yearly maintenance agreement is probably a good thing. Turns out it probably is a good thing to do. So I am asking if you would agree to, there are 2 maintenance agreement plans that they're offering. So if you would, I asked if you would look this over and let me know which option you would approve.
So the one is just a maintenance, and the other one is maintenance plus monitoring,
Right,
and they automatically monitor and maintenance? without
correct,
calling us or us calling them?
right,
And both need to be renewed every year?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Joel, in my note to you earlier, Joel is not allowed to serve our generator, to service it.
Okay.
He's forbidden to do that because he
Because he's
contracts
already
with us,
licensed,
right.
Does he have a recommendation to which of these would be
You know,
best?
Quite frankly, I didn't ask him to do that. I think what Joel can do is, he's the one that recommended this company before. He did go online and make some calls for me, and he knows this is a good company. This generator it was here before me. You probably have a better idea.
Well, there was a monitor when they first installed it that was in here in the building,
Oh, there is
and it
one
had a
now.
light.
Oh,
It's got legs marked.
Must be.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
maybe
haven't-
it
I
was
haven't-
like you got it for the first
oh,
2 years or something. I don't know.
oh my goodness, I had no
But
idea.
I remember.
Well, they got lights on there, they got a green, a yellow,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
red,
But
Yeah.
there was like a little
inside the building.
little box, and it was in Heather's office, I believe,
Hmm.
like right by the window, and
Hmm.
you know,
That
Wow.
must have
it
been
would-
part of a
was
service agreement
maybe it
we
was
had
the
with them at
initial
the time,
setup.
yeah.
Yeah.
So with the monitoring, are they changing the oil and services and doing everything then monitoring? Or are they just monitoring and changing when there's an issue and an error?
I think they do the whole maintenance yearly,
That's that,
and then they monitor it for warning lights in between times. What it sounds like.
I recommend having annual maintenance doing and having a monitoring system since we are, a shelter.
That's a good point.
the warming and stuff,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
That's a good point.
That'd be
Yeah.
my recommendation to the board.
That never occurred to me, quite frankly,
Peace of mind is worth $39 a month.
Yes,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
that would be my,
Are you
okay.
making a motion
recommendation.
then?
I'm making a motion to do the servicing once a year and also install a monitoring system.
So you're thinking the 468?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. Brian has made a motion to for the generator at $468 a year, or $39 a month.
I'll support.
We have a motion and a support. I will need, because we're spending this type money, I would need a roll call on this.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. All right, Lorraine, you are up. This is somewhat complicated. We have a number of things here that are, because our zoning expert is going to lead us through. And I appreciate that.
Okay, what we've done in the past couple of years when the property owner wants, when they have dual zoning or they're zoned all forest recreation, when they approach the township to have their forest rec land changed to residential, we typically do it no charge because it's an error on the township's part for zoning that way. I don't know how many years ago. And Mr. Van Dusen asked about changing his property to ag. He has 10 acres that's zoned forest rec, and the adjacent piece where he lives is residential. So that's how this started, and typically what we do at the attorney's advice is take the surrounding properties that are also dual zoned and offer the property owners to change it to all residential all at one time. So that's how this came about. The properties are west of the transfer station, there's a few, and then south on Holton Duck Lake Road. There's one property owner just south of the transfer station, has 2 parcels, and he wants to leave them dual zoned because he hunts on the back and he just wants to keep it that way. So nobody else said that they didn't want it changed, so the proposal is to change 14 parcels. The one that's 10 acres, he wants an ag, he wants to hobby farm, and the other ones would be all R2, low density residential. Planning Commission recommended approval. This is all on the advice a couple of years ago of the township attorney.
I have one question, and this is not regarding this piece of property, but it is regarding the piece of property that the gentleman who wants to keep his property dual zoned, when they come before, if they change their mind, should they come before the township again? Because they were offered this opportunity.
They pay the fee.
They pay the fee.
We had that happen last year.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear.
Yep.
What about if that property is sold?
That was the case with the last year person who didn't want it changed. The new buyer was requesting that it be changed, but it's on them at that point to pay.
It's on the new owner. Okay,
Right.
I just wanted that absolutely clear for anyone who's watching this on video as well, and for members of the board, that's perfectly clear.
One opportunity.
Okay,
Why
thank you.
is that? I mean, once we approve it, why would we have people pay to do it again if someone changed their mind?
Because there's cost to the township to do it. We gave them the opportunity to have it changed at no charge. There's publication costs, 2 publications, which is probably amounts to $500, and then the mailings that go out to the property owners. That's a board decision, not me.
But
Does the zoning affect the property value, whether it's ag
No,
or forest
it does not.
recreation?
And Martha is the expert on that, but yeah, that's the first question people have. Are my taxes gonna go up?
But it is to make it clear, there is a cost to the township on this.
Yes.
So that is one of the major reasons that we offer it at no charge.
Right.
One time around. So, thank you. Did you have something you wanted to add, Martha?
I just wanted to know, why would you change that to an ag classification in zoning?
He's got the acreage required.
Right, but you can leave it residential and he can still be ag classified.
He can't have the animals he wants per the zoning ordinance.
So you're gonna spot zone.
It's still residential. He's got ag to the west of him.
Who?
Van Dusen. It's still a residential use.
Well, yeah, it's a residential use, but it's zoning, that's what I'm looking at. You got residential zoned all the way along here, and then you got one spot in the middle that's zoned ag.
Do you want to speak on that, Bob? You're on the planning commission. I don't look at it as spot zoning. It's not like you have a commercial business next to residential. His residence is adjacent to
Yeah,
where
but it's residential.
Well, I think you said it all right there. I mean, it's allowable in our township. I mean, you do already have ag in the area,
Yeah.
and there was no reason for us not to do what we did. We voted unanimous.
If you can look on the map from here, that purple square on the top northern edge is the transfer station, and there's a couple light green squares in the area that are ag. They're not adjacent, but it's in the area. Our ag is a lot spot zoned, if you wanna call it that.
You have no problem with this?
I don't, the planning commission didn't.
I didn't.
Explain spot zoning.
Spot zoning, the simplest way is like if a person wanted to put a grocery store on Sweeter Road next to Martha's house, residential, commercial, that's spot zoning,
You gotta put it in a
and it's
commercial.
frowned upon.
That's fine.
You shouldn't spot zone.
The planning commission, Bob, took a look at the zoning areas on the map, what's around them, what's around them, took all that into
Looked at all
accountability?
of it, Yes.
Alright. So you did your homework on it.
We get our
Is
packet
it,
a week
are
in
you
advance.
Mr. Van Dusen?
No,
No, no?
They're the solar panels.
Oh, you're solar panels, okay, okay,
Scott family.
okay.
Gentleman moved here from Alaska. He was a captain, wasn't he? Captain of a boat. And he retired and,
Who, the gentleman that wants to hobby farm?
yes.
Okay,
And he wants alpacas and a couple goats. That's what he told us.
okay.
He's done with fishing, huh?
I was gonna tell you he wanted elephants, but
Well, then I'd have to, I'd be really rethinking this.
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna call for a roll call on this.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, we don't have a motion. We need somebody to make a
I'll make a
motion.
motion, we approve it.
Sport.
Okay, but I'd like a roll call.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, next is special land use. Which is the, solar panels. So raise your hand if you're the Mr. Van Dusen.
no, that's the other guy, Craig Scott.
Craig.
Yeah, where the solar,
Oh, okay.
you're asking.
And I gave you all this packet of a lot of information, but
Yep.
really, for this decision here, what you need to know is the, site plan meets all the requirements of the ordinance, which you also have as far as setbacks, maximum height. The panels will be behind the house, and the house sits pretty far back off the road to begin with. I don't know exactly how far, but I think I gave you an aerial photo of the house too.
Yeah.
The planning commission was unanimous on this one. Thought it was a great idea.
I looked at all of this as well.
Well, if it meets the ordinance, what is the, exception that brings it to the board? Is this,
It's in the ordinance, it requires,
It requires it.
board approval.
Yeah.
They had a public hearing at the planning commission, and then it goes to the board for
Okay.
final approval.
The information and package was very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Whoever put that together, kudos.
that's a nice setup.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be him.
The Scots had to do that, right?
What's that?
You had to put all that whole packet together, which was
Yes.
incredibly
I
impressive.
contracted out to having it put together, but I gave him all the information, told him what we needed, and
Okay.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
thank
So,
you.
thank you. And I've had calls, questions on it, so, like, was it going to block traffic?
Concerns.
Yeah, people concerned with this blocks of road, the solar panels, because people don't know, so, how big this is gonna be, that kind of thing. So, genuine concern from, safety perspective, I think. And, so I just appreciate the fact, visibility concern from the road, all of those kinds of questions. Those are questions that came into the hall, and so this kind of information really does help. So thank you very much for putting this kind of information, and I know it wasn't cheap. So, we will need a motion on this.
I'll make a motion.
Support.
We have a motion and a support. Does anyone have any questions that they would?
I just comment again, sitting on the board when these things come to us, we have concerns out in the community. A lot of times they're called in here, and this was a great package for me to sit down and look out. It's drawn out good, explained thoroughly, then it goes in front of the planning committee who does their homework. So there was really, when it came to me, it was like, wow, this is very impressive. I said kudos, so whoever put it together for you, and I like the way that you addressed any concerns you may have had, so it was really nice getting it laid out like this. So.
I just
Thank you.
apologize for not getting your name right, so forgive me for that. But.
So that's my only comment. It was great.
Yeah.
And the planning committee's hard work on also investigating.
Yeah, yeah, but truthfully, the people of the township, this is, while it's not new, solar panels aren't new here to the township. Lorraine and the planning commission did a lot of pre-work early on in preparation for solar panels coming into the township. So they were prepared for the time when they started to become more popular. And they are becoming more popular. So kudos to you for doing it. I truly, if I were younger, I would certainly want something like that. Thank you I'm all about green energy, and I think it's wonderful. You have a great piece of property for it. So now we just need to vote. So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think you knew it was gonna go that way. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. All right, next on the agenda. Ordinance amendment to the building code. And Lorraine, if you'd lead us through that one.
I'm trying to remember how this came about.
It was in the event we ever had an issue come before us that needed to come because of a construction issue, that needed to come before a construction committee, an official construction committee. We recognized we didn't really have one.
This ordinance is part of the regulatory ordinances, not zoning, so I don't look at it much. I don't look at the regulatory ordinance much. But when I looked at this, it was very, very outdated. It talked about the codes that the inspectors enforce, and they were all wrong. They were all wrong. The building inspectors, all the inspectors, and they use Michigan codes, and what we had in the book was national codes. So we needed to update it. And we needed to fix the section that talked about the Construction Board of Appeals.
It also said it was going before the ZBA,
Yeah.
and that wasn't the appropriate committee for it to report to. We needed a separate Construction Board of Appeals. And so what will happen is, assuming the board decides to authorize this or pass this, in December, we will, or Lorraine and I will begin to look at the appropriate committee members. These will be people who are credentialed, this is the appropriate word, in the building trades. And we will then begin to appoint them in December when we appoint and reappoint our committee members.
And probably never use them.
Yes. And they know it, but these individuals are willing to serve on this committee. They know that it's an important committee to serve on, and they know that they will likely never serve.
And it just happens to coincide when Jeff got that packet from a company regarding ISO, and maybe you know what that is, Brian. It's I don't really know what it is. It's important. But they ask in this whole 100-page survey what codes we follow. So it's good that we're fixing it.
Good.
So, now that's the down and dirty explanation, so now you know what we're asking you to approve. With that, may I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
I'll support.
Any further explanation or any questions that anyone would like? Then could I have it just a roll, or a
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, thank you. Aye. Motion carries. So then we will begin, Lorraine, we'll begin as soon as the holidays are over, we'll begin working on seeking members for this, credentialed members. Master plan, am I right? Yep,
Do you need me
master
for
plan.
that?
Pardon?
Do you need me for that?
Would you like to go now? Do you want to go home or?
I just want to know where to stand.
Yeah, what happened to my master plan? Oh, here it is. I would like to say right now, first, for the record, I want to commend the Planning Commission for the work that they put in this master plan. I don't have the time frame exactly, but
June 15th, 2022.
wow, amazing. So, nearly a year and a half worth of work. And the planning commission took our old master plan and went line by line by line to review this. And it was an exceptional amount of work that they put into this. So I want to commend them and praise them for the work that they did on this. The planning commission had the authority to approve this document. They have done so, and again, thank you for the work. Our role as a board now is they have handed us this document for review, and we have the opportunity to look it over, give any additional thoughts that we may have, and pass that on to the planning commission and to Lorraine. I have done so. I've made, given her my thoughts. She has made a little change to the document based on what I thought was important. And mine was like my hot button, as you all know, is recycling. And something that the planning commission would not know was the future of recycling based on the state of Michigan's Part 115. So I just added that piece, but no one on the planning commission would have known what Part 115 is to the future of Cedar Creek Township. So with that said, our recommendation is then, with the next step, is just to go forth and present it to the public, right?
All the townships, county, railroad, whatever, in the
Yeah.
area.
So
for
that
a
they can,
42-day review, so they can make comments if they wish.
right, so everyone else can make, we get the first chance to make any edits and comments that we want. And then everyone else can make comments.
Well, what we need is the board to approve it going out for the 42-day review.
Okay,
I'll make
We're
that
on
motion.
two.
pardon?
I said we're on number
Number
two
two,
of step
yeah.
2.
It's because this is a master plan review, not a brand new document, it's a review.
It's an amendment.
Amendment, yeah, sorry, amendment. I've been amended.
I will support.
Who made the first one? Bob? All right, it's been supported, it's been what and what? And so I need any additional edits or thoughts anyone would like to make to this? I need
Well, I'll just say this whole process is new to me, and I've been learning and had quite a few discussions with Lorraine, so I appreciate the work that has gone into it, and it's a good document, so I support it.
Thank you, thank you. This, I have referred to this, just so you know, as the board's Bible. That's how I look at it. I mean, it's our marching orders for how we work as a board. This is how we govern. This is how we look to the present and to the future. So everything we do it with this in mind. So, and because of that, I am very grateful for this document.
And on that, I wanna support what you guys said, a lot of hard work, I went through it line for line, I'm very particular when I get my package and read through it, not once, couple times.
Yeah.
It's laid out good and it looks good, so everybody on that board, thank you very much for their hard work.
And it all goes to thank you, Lorraine, because you gave us a direction.
And while we're,
Yes, you did.
you know, yeah, not a big head, but also thank you to the public, because the survey that the public sent in is embedded in this document. So, when people answer that, and we had such a high response rate on that master plan survey, those responses are embedded in this, which helps drive this. So I want to thank all the members of the public who took the time to answer that, because it does drive the
Made a difference.
master plan.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes a difference how we look at, it helped with the Parks and Rec plan. It helped drive this master plan. So thank you, everyone. So, okay, so if we could just,
All in favor?
yes.
Aye.
Yay.
All right.
Okay, public comments. Nada? I forgot board comments on there.
And nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed. I just looked down.
Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, they don't need to see that.
And what the heck, the board doesn't need to say anymore.
No, make an early meeting. Just thank you all for being here.
Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, don't eat too much. Nose popping buttons now.
I do just wanna let everyone know that tax bills will be going out December 1st.
Boy.
So,
thanks for
nothing
that.
like ruining your holiday.
How about some
but-
pasta?
We do have
Sorry.
one other thing, the senior
Forward.
bags will be ready,
Beginning of December?
yeah, somewhere right around the beginning of September.
Yeah, so,
And this year, we're gonna put, John Anderson's honey in them.
I'm just bringing you
Yeah.
a bucket, you can just kind of dip it out whatever you want.
Nice.
So with that said, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Happy
Aye.
Thanksgiving!